Hi, today we'll be taking a look at the three main builds that you can build from EB09 Raging Tactics. So we have Tachikaze, Spike Brothers, and Mecha Colony. Alright, so first let's take a look at Tachikaze. And here's the new ace monster. We have the Anger Blader. So activate, choose one of your rear guard. Put it face down into the as equip gauge for another rear guard, and retire one of your opponent's rear guard. So you increase your equip gauge and decrease the amount of rear guards your opponent have. So that's the first activate skill. The second skill, which is the main feature, will be when attacking, counterblast 1, choose 3 of your rear guard with 3 or more equip gauge, stand it, and during this turn, all unit in your front row get power plus 5000. Right? So equip gauge for this new build, actually you charge them very fast. So you can charge like 2 units with 3 equip gauge within 1 turn. Pretty easy. And with the first skill, it's not once per turn, so you can actually do it multiple times. So you can use up all your hand just to charge all the equip gauge if you need. So this is our new ace monster. That allows Tachikaze to have multiple attack in a turn. And we still place Giga Rex as it's a good setup card as a Vanguard, and if you don't need any more, you can just charge it away with Anger Blader. Right. Next, we are testing out the Dark Rex. So when this card's in the drop, and you have a grade 2 and above Vanguard, during this turn you have not ride, you can discard 2 equip gauge on the field. You either ride in face up, ride in stand, or call it onto rear guard circle. Right, very versatile. And during the attacking battle, this unit get power plus 2000 for each of your equip gauge. Alright, so you have a high power attacker, and you can even superior call it or superior ride it from the drop. Alright, so it's a very interesting card. And if you need a ride as a Vanguard, I still think Giga Rex is a better choice. So we stuck at 2. Alright, let's take a look at the grade 2. First of all, we have the main feature. Right, so we have the Sweeper Krogat. Sorry, can't really pronounce it. But alright, so the Sweeper Dragon. So when attacking, put the top of your deck face down as an equip gauge. And it's once per turn. When this card get power plus 5000 for each equip gauge under it. So if you have 3 like this case, you will get power plus 15,000. Even on your opponent turn, that's 24,000 base. And if you have 3 or more, your opponent cannot. Alright, let me repeat. Your opponent cannot choose it by a card effect. So things such as destroy your opponent rear guard, it cannot be destroyed, or against things like Phantom Blaster Dragon, I cannot retire this by the card effect. Right, so this is a huge dragon that keep increasing the size after every single attack. Next, we have a new addition, and when this card enters the field or attacks a Vanguard, choose a rear guard, put the top into gauge. Right, so attack, enter the field, add 1 to the gauge, attack, add another 1 to the gauge. Alright, so you can charge very fast. Right, so definitely 4 copies. Right, so for our other choice, first of all, let's take a look at the rare. Alright, once per turn, during your turn, when your opponent's rear guard get retired, you can put the top of your deck into the gauge, and for this turn, it gets power plus 5000 for each card in the gauge at the point of time. So with Anger Blader, you can destroy 2, charge 2, and destroy third one, activate the skill, put third one, and you get power plus 15,000 during this turn. Right? So pretty interesting, but it's not very stable, so we go for 2. And Savage Academian. Activate, Soul Blast 1, rest this unit. Right, call 1 card from the equip gauge onto the field. So just in case you have important cards in the gauge, you can actually just Soul Blast 1, rest it, and just call it onto the field. Alright, so we still continue to play Sonic Noah. It's very important. Another interesting new addition. Alright, Sandero4. Not very sure how to pronounce all these dinosaurs, but alright. So rest this unit. You either put the top of your deck into another unit gauge, right? Or rest it, choose one of your rear guard, move all the gauge onto another rear guard. Okay, in addition, you can counter +1, and during this turn, that unit get power +5000. Right? So case like you have important ace card on, let's say, Sonic Noah. Right, I can rest this, push this to the Academian, so +1 and call it onto the field. Right, it's a roundabout way, but it's better than getting it stuck. Right, and we have another one, Raw Barrel. So enter the field, so +1, choose one of your rear guard, put the top deck into gauge, and during this turn you get power +5000 for each card engaged. Alright, so you can do actually a final turn, add everything to, let's say, sweeper, so you have +5000 for each gauge times 2, and with Anger Blader you can restand it and attack again with a huge power. Alright, so for the trigger we are going for 6 crit, as this is you do not have any power issue anymore, so you don't really need the front trigger now. So we're going for 6 crit. We have some issue with the hand size, so we're going for 4 draw. Alright, and the usual baby dragon. Alright, so that's for Tachikaze. Okay, now let's take a look at the new Spike Brothers. So basically there's two main playstyle. One that make use of the Force 2 and the other one that uses Force 1. Right? So with the new feature of dead hits boost spike that allows your force marker to be moved around the field. So there's two main way of playing, multiple ride and with Force 1, so you have huge units attacking at all times, or single ride with Force 2, so you have two criticals and moving around the field. Alright, so that's two main ways. And for Force 2, the Force 2 method, I'll recommend playing things such as High Speed Blackie, Wonder Boy to reuse the units, and also Juggernaut Maximum, right? Units that have plus 10,000 upon entering the field, right? So for this one, we are actually going for Force 1, which means multiple ride, huge attack, and multiple attacks per turn. So let's take a look at the skill. So the first one is when your unit attacks any of the unit, so +1, move all force marker from all the circles onto it. So let's say the first unit have 2 force marker. When the second unit attacks, so +1, move everyone to it. Right? So it's a very interesting playstyle. Truly like a rugby player, passing the balls around. And once per turn, when your unit with force marker on the circle and the attack didn't hit, you can draw 1, retire 1 for your opponent's rear guard. Alright? Not only that, and you force your opponent to guard. Okay, so when let's example, I have Force 2. If I attack, if you do not guard, you take 2 critical. If you guard, I get to draw 1 and destroy one of your rear guards. Right? So your opponent will be left with a lot of choices to make. We continue to have Siegfried as a very good secondary ride. And we have Pet and Dragger, so you can use it as a first ride. And after that, when you ride on top, call it onto the rear guard circle, retire everything in the same column. And not only that, when attacking, counter +1, return one of your rear guard back to bottom deck, and you get power +5001 crit. Alright, pretty huge if you have Force 2 or even Force 1. Alright, for the grade 2 it's very simple. We have this new unit, power back. So what does it do? When it enters the field, counterblast 1, put 1 card from your hand to soul, and look at the top of the deck as the same amount as your Vanguard's grade. So if you're grade 3, look at top 3, grade 2, look at top 2, and choose up to 3 of them, call it onto rearguard circle, and the rest back to bottom deck. So counterblast 1, soul blast 1, and I actually get potential 3 more rearguards. Right, so it saves your hand. And we continue playing Spike Bouncer to save our cards in the hand. And another new unit. So when attacking counterblast 1, move all force marker under this card. So let's say I'm run out of soul, I can still counterblast 1 to do the same thing. And if the attack hits and there's force marker under this unit, retire 1 of your opponent's rearguard. Alright, so 4 of them. And provoke needle. So if it's on a circle with force marker, you get power plus 10,000. Very simple. Alright, so for the grade 1, we only change 1 of them to Snapper Devil. So as a Vanguard, when the attack hits, draw 1. And when boosting, I can counterblast 1 and move all the force marker to the unit I'm boosting. So similar to our double R. Right, so I do not need to worry that I run out of resources for my Soul Blast. I can have an alternate way of playing. Gyro Slinger to increase my rearguard circle. Gary Cannon to increase my hand size. And for the trigger is the basic 8 crit, 4 draw, 4 heal, but I'm thinking of maybe like 6 crit and 6 draw instead. Right, so this deck need a few more test play and modification before we can finalize the deck list. But the basic gameplay is very, very interesting. This is the first time we have circles that actually move around the field, and it will create a lot more strategies and a lot more pressure to your opponent. Alright, so that's Spike Brothers. Alright, now let's take a look at the Mecha Colony and featuring Ganingolio. Alright, so the new playstyle actually requires you to send the top of your opponent's deck into drop, and according to grade you gain a different ability. So first of all, these units when enter the field get power plus 5,000, drive plus 1, and you mill the opponent's top deck. If it's a grade 3 and above, you get power plus 10,000 and drive plus 1 again. So it's a potentially 27,000 base with quad drive. And once per turn, you can Soul Blast a grade 3, your opponent mill the top deck, and during this turn, your opponent cannot call the same grade. So if you were to mill a grade 0, your opponent cannot guard with grade 0, right? So it's a very, very interesting and irritating card to face. And next, we have Sacromateus. So when attacking a Vanguard, counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1. During this turn, this unit get power plus 10,000. And your opponent put the top of the deck into drop. If it's a grade 1 and above, this unit get a critical plus 1. Right? So not only if your opponent get a grade 0, which will mean that they'll have a 1 less defensive trigger. So it's very versatile. And when you ride on top of this unit, your opponent discard 1 of his or her hand, and for each grade, during this turn your Vanguard power plus 5,000. So example, I were to ride on top of this, your opponent have to discard 1 card. So if they discard a grade 0, means they have 1 less trigger to guard. If they discard anything else, my Vanguard get additional power, right? So you need a lot of planning when going against this. And of course we have Lion as a finisher. So When attacking, Soul Blast a grade 3, discard 2 cards from hand, you get power plus 10,000, critical plus 1, and your opponent can use Sentinel, alright? It's the usual. And next we have Machinic Mantis. This is a must play. So enter the field, counter blast 1, and look at top 6, add up to 1 grade 3 to hand, shuffle the deck, and this unit get power plus 6,000. Right, so this deck, the main feature will be keep adding grade 3 to hand, rewriting. Right, a new addition, we have the Mecha Lancer. So when attacking a Vanguard, and this unit get power plus 2,000 for each of your opponent rested rear guards. And you can choose to send one of your rear guard into soul, and if you do so, opponent can intercept. So after not letting them restand, you can force them not to intercept. If you are playing in premium, right? For in this case, you can actually restrict the amount of guard they have on the field, and also increase the power. So we're playing around 4 copies. Alright, and for the rare, we played 4 copies, as this is one of my favorite in this set. When attacking a Vanguard, counter blast 1, Soul Blast 1. During this battle, this unit get power plus 10,000. And your opponent put the top into drop. If it's a grade 1 and above, you get to draw 1. Right? So not only that, you change their top deck sequence, you actually get to draw 1. Alright, and we have Hornet, another grade 3 searcher. Alright, a new addition to the set. So enter the field, Soul Blast 1. During this turn, this unit get power plus 6,000, and your opponent put the top into drop. If it's a grade 1 above, you get the Soul Charge 1. So technically 0 cost. And if you boost a unit that's attacking a grade 3 and above Vanguard, discard 1 card from your hand, and he or she discard 1 card from his hand. Right? Next, we're playing the promo card. So if this card is rested, all units in the same column cannot stand. Alright, so even by card effect. And if the boosted attack hits a Vanguard, send this card into soul, counter charge 1. It's a force effect. So if you let me hit, I get to soul charge 1, counter charge 1. If you choose not to let me hit, the whole column cannot stand during the next turn. Okay, so pretty irritating, but for players that didn't get this, as this from the coupon exchange from last year WGP, or the English player that didn't get it in their set yet, you can actually go for Thoroughly Tiara. So as long as this turn your opponent's card gets sent to drop from deck, this unit get power plus 5,000. Alright, this is a good thing that you can play instead. So it's a 13,000 base, or you can use it attack or even boost. And last of all, we have this Butterfly Officer. So rest this unit, choose one of your up to one of your other rear guard, you get power plus 10,000, and end of turn send into soul, counter charge 1. Alright, just playing 2 of them just for the extra counter charge if needed. And as usual, it create 4 draw, 4 heal for this deck, since there's not much of a hand size issue. Right, so this is one of the deck that I will not want to play against alright, during tournament. Right, so that's Mecha Colony. Right, let's take a look at the additional deck that we formed out, featuring the Machinic. So we are using the OVR from the previous set that allows you to stand all your rear guards, and during this turn they get power plus 5,000, and all your opponent rested unit get power plus 5,000 until end of opponent turns. Right, so as usual, we still have the Stack Beetle that make full use of your soul to call onto the field, so you can save your hand size. And we have a new addition to the team. Right, so enter the field, rest all your other rear guards, and you can choose one of the following 2 effects. And as you can additionally Soul Blast a grade 3 and you choose both instead. So select all rested rear guards. During this turn you get power plus 5000. So after that you can use Spike Heracles to stand everyone. Or choose give your opponent this ability that he or she can only stand up to 2 units during the stand phase. Alright, very, very irritating. Okay, next we have Mantis, which is must play. A new addition with guard restriction, not allowing your opponent to intercept. And Bloody Heracles for the counter charge. Right, since your main ability actually uses counter blast 2, which is very, very heavy. But with the new additions such as Lady Bomber, enter the field, Soul Blast 1, rest this unit. You can rest any amount of your rear guard, so you can make full use of this for your other skills. And if your opponent has 3 or less rear guard, counter charge 1. Right, so as you can see, there's a lot of counter charging mechanics. We even have Millipede inside, and Hornet for the grade 3 searching, and the usual triggers. So this is actually a very, very interesting deck. And the last we tried, we have very, very huge hand size for not doing anything, because all the rear guards came from the soul. Okay, so this is for players that do not want to like remod the whole deck and build a new deck. You can just add a few additions from this new set, like Lady Bomber, Megala Lancer, and of course our new double R into the deck, and you can upgrade your deck to the new machining build. And I think it goes pretty well for premium machining. Right, so that's all from EB09.